Welcome students to this second lecture. In the previous lecture we have talked about the basic concepts of set. We discussed that a set is a well defined unordered collection of objects. We say it is unordered because the ordering of the elements or the repetition of the elements in a set does not matter. We say it is well defined because given a set and a particular value, we can immediately check and tell whether that value is an element of the set or not. That's why we say it is a well-defined unordered collection of objects. We also saw what do we mean by the cardinality, which is the number of elements in the set, and we saw that based on the cardinality we can have finite versus infinite sets, we have null set, we have singleton set, and the various things. We also saw what do we actually mean by the subset and superset. If all the elements of set A are also present in the set B, then we say A is a subset of B, or we can say B is a superset of A. Similarly, the set of all the possible subsets of a given set is called the power set. Today, we are going to talk about the operations on set. Now, in order to understand the operations on set, we are taking certain examples. I have defined three sets. Set A as having the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means the cardinality of set A is 6. The set B as having the elements 2, 4, 6, 8. That means the cardinality is 4. And the set C as 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. That means the cardinality of set C is 5. Now let's see the various operations. The first operation that can be defined on the set is the union operation. Now union operation means A union B is the set of all the elements which are present in the set A or the set B or both. All the elements which are present in A or B or both. In our example, if I take the union of A and B, the union of A and B will be the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the elements that will come from the set A. 2, 4 and 6, these three elements are already present in the set A, so we will not repeat them, but the element 8 which is not present in A will be written over here. So the elements will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 8. Similarly, if I want to take the union of B and C, I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All the elements. So union means all the elements which are present in the set A or the set B or both of them. Second operation is the intersection operation. The intersection of A and B is the set of all the elements which are present in A and which are present in B. That means this is the set of all those elements which are present in both the sets, right? If we see over here, the element 1 is present only in the set A. Similarly, the element 6 is only present in the set B. The element 3 and 5 are only present in the set A and not in B. So if I take the intersection of A and B, the elements which will come in the intersection are element 2, why? Because it is present in both the sets, element 4 because it is present in both the sets, and element 6 because it is present in both the sets. So A intersection B will be 2, 4, 6. Similarly, if I take the intersection of A and C, so it will be only the elements 1, 3 and 5 will be taken, right? 2 and 4 and 6, they are present only in A, not in C. Similarly, 7 and 9, they are present in C but not in A. So only those elements which are present in both the sets will be considered. So A intersection will be 1, 3 and 5. What if I try to take the intersection of B and C? Now see carefully, there are no elements which are common in the set B and C. So that means the intersection of B and C is the null set or the phi. Such sets which do not have any element in common, or in other words whose intersection is equal to the null set, are called disjoint sets. The next operation that can be defined is the difference operation. Now difference operation means A minus B, it is denoted by the symbol minus. A minus B is the set of all the elements which are present in A but not in B. Which are present in A but not in B. So if I take A minus B, then the elements will be 1, 2 as it is present already in B, so it will not be taken. 3, 4 will not be taken as it is also present in B, and 5. So A minus B will be 1, 3, 5. What if I try to take B minus A? If I try to take B minus A, let's see the element 2, it will not be taken. Why? Because it is also present in A. 4 is also present in A. 6 is also present in A. The only element which is present in B but not in A is the element 8. So B minus A is the element 8. Now, let's define a universal set. For this problem, we are defining the universal set as being comprising of the elements 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, using this universal set, we'll define the next property or the next operation, which is called the complement operation. Now, complement operation, if we take, the complement of a set A is the set of all the elements which are not present in A. Let me repeat. The complement of set A, denoted by A dash, is the set of all the elements which are not present in A. I can write it like this. A dash is equal to set of all the elements such that X does not belong to A. But we define the universal set as the set of all the possible elements of all the possible sets. So we can define the complement of set in one more way, which means these are the set of all the elements which are present in the universal set but not in the set A. What means is A dash is equal to universal set minus A. If I take these examples 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and this is the universal set, then what will be the complement of A? It will be 0, 7, 8, 9. These are the elements which are present in the universal set but not present in the set A. Similarly, B dash is 0, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, being the elements which are present in the universal set but not in the set B. Then the next operation, symmetric difference operation. Now this is a special operation. Symmetric difference operation, which can be denoted by this small triangle or this XOR like symbol. It means the symmetric difference of A and B is the set of all the elements which are present in exactly one of the two sets. That means A symmetric difference B is the set of those elements which are present in A or which are present in B but which are not present in both of them. So that means if I try to take the symmetric difference of A and B, so 1, 3, 5, these will come from A. 2, 4 and 6 will not be considered. Why? Because these are present in both the sets. And also the element 8, because it is present only in one of the two sets. So the symmetric difference of A and B is 1, 3, 5 and 8. Similarly, the symmetric difference of A and C will be the elements which are present exactly in one of the sets. That means 2, 4, 6, 7 and 9. Now, symmetric difference can be thought of in two additional ways. See, we have defined the union of the two sets as the set of all the elements which are present in set A or set B or both the sets. And the intersection is the set of all the elements which are present in both of them. So, if we take the union and remove the intersection elements, that means if we take union means all the elements from A or B or both, and then we remove the elements which are present in both. So what will be left with? The elements which are present in A or B but not in both. What is that? It's simply the symmetric difference. Another way we can think of the symmetric difference is we have A minus B. This is the set of all the elements which are present in A but not in B. B minus A, the set of all the elements which are present in B but not in A. If I take the union of these, I will get a set of elements which are present in A but not in B, and the elements of B which are not present in A. That means I will get the elements which are present in A and B but not in both. Now, union and intersection are commutative. Commutative in the sense that if you try to take A union B or B union A, they will remain the same. Let's take a simple example. If I have two sets, one is the set of all the boys of the class and one is the set of all the girls of the class. And A union B is the union of set of all the boys of the class and the set of all the girls of the class. That means the set of all the students of the class. And if I try to take B union A, simply means that if I try to take, that means the set of all the girls of the class union with the set of all the boys of the class, I will again get the set of all the students of the class. Similarly, the intersection operation is also commutative. Now sets, as you all know, can also be represented by using a diagrammatical representation which is called the Venn diagram. Now let us see the Venn diagram representation of certain operations on sets. Now using a Venn diagram, we represent the set as a circle within a rectangle. This rectangle is representing the universal set and this circle in between is representing the elements of the set. Now let us see the various operations. This first example is A is a proper subset of B. Remember, what was the proper subset? Proper subset means A is a subset of B, but B is not a subset of A and B is also not equal to A. Only then it is called a proper subset. What it means is all the elements of A are the elements of B, but there are certain elements of B which are not the elements of A. So this is how A is a proper subset of B will be represented by using Venn diagrams. Similarly, complement of A. So complement of A is the region of the rectangle outside of this circle, indicating all the elements which are present in the universal set but not in the set A. Similarly, A minus B is the set of all the elements which are present in A but not in B. That means the elements of A or the region of A which is common to the region B is also excluded. This shaded portion is indicating A minus B. Similarly, this shaded portion is representing B minus A. It is having the portion of B which does not include the portion which is covered by A. A union B, this shaded portion once again is representing A union B. That means all the elements of set A and set B, including the elements which are present in both of them, they are coming under the union operation. Intersection operation, all the elements which are present in both the sets. So neither this region nor this region. Only this common region is considered to be the A intersection B. Then symmetric difference. Symmetric difference means all the elements which are present in A or which are present in B but which are not present in both. They are called the symmetric difference elements. So these are the operations on the sets. We have seen how the operations on the set can be defined mathematically, and we have seen how the operations on the sets can be defined, can be represented using Venn diagrams. Now all these operations on the sets, they are governed by certain laws, right? Now let's see these laws. Now these laws are very simple, but I suggest that you study them carefully. The reason being, this is a special offer for you. You must have seen the various shopping offers, buy one get one free, buy one get two free, buy one get three free. Now this is a similar kind of an offer. You study the laws of set algebra and you will get a number of laws free. The similar laws, or rather I should say the same laws with different symbols will be used in Boolean algebra, which you will be studying in your logic design. The same laws with different symbols will be used in mathematical logic, which is our third unit, or I believe the second unit. Same laws will be used in lattices. So if you study the laws once, you will benefit in a number of places. So laws of set algebra. Now before we go into the laws of set algebra, you must understand one thing, that these laws follow the principle of duality. Duality means each and every law has a dual. Now, how can we obtain the dual of a law? Sorry. The dual of the law can be obtained by interchanging union with intersection and universal set with the null set. I'll repeat, the dual of a law can be obtained by interchanging union with intersection and universal set with null set and vice versa. Now let us see the laws. The first law is called the idempotent law. Now idempotent law says the union of a set with itself is equal to the set itself. A union A is equal to A. Now if I want to find the dual of this law, what I will have to do is I will have to replace union by intersection or intersection by union and universal set by null set and vice versa. So I have the union over here. So if I replace it by intersection, I will get the dual of this law. That means the intersection of A with A is equal to A. Next, I have the commutative law. A union B is equal to B union A. The dual will be A intersection B is equal to B intersection A. Right? It's quite simple laws. Associative law, A union B union C is equal to A union B union C. To get the dual, we simply interchange union with intersection and we get A intersection B intersection C is equal to A intersection B intersection C. Distributive laws, see, up to this point, whatever laws we are having, see if we have union operation, single operation laws were there. If we have, see over here, we have single operation, union, intersection, intersection. When we talk about distributive law, we have to talk about two different operations. So distributive law means A union B intersection C is equal to A union B intersection A union C, and the dual of this law can be obtained by interchanging union by intersection and vice versa. So I get A intersection B union C is equal to A intersection B union A intersection C. Identity laws. A union null set. The union of a set with the null set. Just think over it. A is a given set and null set does not contain any elements. So obviously the union of these two is going to be the set itself. Right? So what will be the dual of this law? A intersection phi will be replaced by the universal set. So A intersection universal set is equal to A. Then the second law is A union universal set is equal to universal set. Just think over it. A given set, union universal set. Universal set means set of all the possible elements. So the union of the two is going to be the universal set. What will be the dual? A intersection null set is equal to null set. Involution law, this is the only law which does not have a dual. Why? Because it does not have any union or intersection or universal set or null set in it. It means complement of a set is equal to the original set. Then we have the complement laws. Complement laws means A union A dash. Means complement of a set and its complement. Union of a set and its complement. All the elements of A, all the elements which are not in A. So both these elements, when you combine, you will get the universal set. And the dual will be A intersection A dash is equal to null set. Just think over it. All the elements of A and all the elements which are not in A, their intersection, it will definitely have no elements in it. So they will be phi. The complement of the universal set is the null set and the complement of null set is the universal set. Then we have the De Morgan's laws. A union B complement is equal to A complement intersection B complement. Please see over here, this was union and this is intersection. Similarly, A intersection B complement is equal to A complement union B complement. These are the dual laws. Then last we have the absorption laws. A union A intersection B is equal to A, and then we have A intersection A union B is equal to A. Now, I have taken a couple of examples over here. I have taken 3 sets A, B, C, and I have defined a universal set over here. I suggest you yourself define certain example sets like this, and then you try to verify these laws by using those example sets. Right? And you can verify the various operations: union operation, intersection operation, difference operation, complement operation, symmetric difference operation. You can verify all these operations by using your own example sets. Right? So if you have any problems in the material that we have covered, we can always discuss in the next discussion session, or you can post your queries in the WhatsApp group and I will try to revert back to you. So this is all that we will talk about sets. In the next or the forthcoming lectures, we'll be talking about the relations. Now relations, before I go into relation, there is one operation that I forgot, which is very important from the point of view of relations, and that operation that is defined on the sets is called the Cartesian product. Cartesian product. And it is defined and it denoted by the symbol cross. So it means this is a very special operation. This means that A cross B is a set of ordered pairs. Now please understand, I am saying it is a set of ordered pairs where such that A belongs to A and B belongs to the set B. Let's try to understand it with the help of an example. Let us say the set A is equal to 1, 2, 3 and the set B is equal to, let us say, A comma B. Now what will be the Cartesian product of A cross B? The Cartesian product of A cross B will be 1 comma A, ordered pair. The first element will always come from A and the second element will always come from B. All the possible combinations will be there. 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B. So this is the Cartesian product. Set of ordered pairs. Why do we call it ordered? Because the first element is always coming from the first set and the second element is always coming from the second set. But please remember, this is nothing but a set. If it is a set, that means the set by definition is unordered. What it means is, I can even write it like this: 1A, 2A, 3A, 1B, 2B, 3B. Both these sets are same. So, by definition, a set is unordered. But here, the set is made up of elements and each element is no longer a simple element. Each element is a pair, and that pair is ordered. That means the first element is coming from the first set and the second element is coming from the second set. So obviously A cross B is not going to be equal to B cross A. Why? Because B cross A, what will be the elements of B cross A? So B cross A, the first element will come from B and the second element will come from A. So the elements will be A comma 1, A comma 2, A comma 3, B comma 1, B comma 2, B comma 3. So I can very clearly see that these elements are not the same as these elements. So I can say that the Cartesian product is not a complementary operation. Commutative operation. So this was all for now. The next lecture we will talk about relations and the various properties of relations. So once again, you have any queries, you can post them in the WhatsApp group. Thank you.